Hey everybody, it's Jason Blaha with Ice Cream Fitness here. And today I want to get balls deep into some nerd shit for you guys, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring it down from the science level and I'm going to put it down here in layman's terms and put it in a way that people can understand. But hold on, let me give you guys a bicep shot first. Hold on, you can't see that. Let me roll the sleeve up better. All right, I had someone ask me in a private message this morning if I could go into a little more detail explaining what I mean by the fact that weightlifting reduces your chances of getting cancer. Now, there's been studies that have studied this, and I don't have them handy, but a simple Google search should be able to pull up these studies. There have been studies and meta-analysis on it that show that people who regularly engage in resistance training, at least moderate intensity resistance training, or higher intensity training such as interval training or sprinting, things like that, that they develop cancer at a 50% lower rate than the general population. And if they do get cancer, they have twice the chance of surviving it and fighting the cancer off and then coming back out of it. Now, what a lot of people are going to say, and I wholeheartedly agree, correlation does not equal causation, which means epidemiological studies, which means studies of the population and their effects, you cannot draw causation from it. And what that means is just because two things go hand in hand doesn't mean automatically that you can prove that one causes the other. Because when you look at something like that, we can argue that people who lift weights and train regularly probably have more healthy lifestyles in general. They probably eat a better diet. They probably eat more fruits and vegetables. They probably smoke less. They probably drink less than the general population. So there are other factors there. We can't say it's the weight training causing it. But the explanation that has been given does show that there is evidence of some causation. Now, it might not be the only factor. Those others are probably factors. But we know that activity level and exercise and training, and particularly things like resistance training and interval training, seem to have more effect than any other lifestyle factor on insulin sensitivity, which is how well your body utilizes insulin, how much it produces versus the amount of glucose you need, how efficient it is at using it. And you want better insulin sensitivity because that positively impacts a whole host of medical issues. Now, how it ties into cancer, because keep in mind, what happens when you weight train is that your body tends to partition nutrients better. All that insulin and blood sugar floating around in your bloodstream, the more you weight train, the more sensitive your muscle tissue becomes to it. So it pulls more of it out of the bloodstream than other tissues get. And the more muscle you have and the harder you train, the higher that number gets. And accordingly, what we know is that cancer cells tend to be extremely insulin sensitive, probably one of the most insulin sensitive tissues that we've ever observed in our species, which means they tend to suck a lot of insulin and glucose out of the bloodstream, and that's all they burn for fuel. They don't tend to burn fat and fatty acids very well for fuel. So they need that insulin and glucose, and what happens is that people who train hard, their muscles pull more of the insulin and glucose. So therefore, if you have tumors trying to form, they're going to get less calories. They're going to get less food because your muscle tissue is pulling more of it. And therefore your body will be able to fight off those early cells a little easier and stop them, because your body does try to stop cancer the best it can. It's just that it can't always do it, because we develop cancer cells a lot more often than people realize, but the body fights them off before they get big enough to be noticeable. So that gives it a better chance to do so, so you probably develop cancer at a lower rate. And accordingly, when you're trying to fight the cancer and you're on everything from chemotherapy to other anti-cancer meds and you're trying to fight it, the same thing comes into play. If you can give less calories to the tumors, they grow slower. It's going to be easier to kill them because they're getting less food to regenerate themselves, to heal themselves, to grow themselves. So that's what it comes down to, guys. It's an issue of basically weight training and intense training can effectively help starve your cancer cells a bit, and it makes it easier for your body to fight them, and it makes it easier for medications to fight them, and that's why it does that. Also, speaking of nerd shit, people love me to give these updates on it. I get a lot of questions on this. For people asking, yes, that is a Warhammer Fantasy Battle poster in the background called the Mark of Chaos. Yes, I play Warhammer. I play tabletop Warhammer on Monday nights at a local gaming club. And actually, I have some of my stuff right here because I just switched armies. I just switched from Dark Elves and now switching to Warriors of Chaos. So that's one of my models that I glued together last night. And that is called a Skull Crusher of Khorne. And these are some of my Chaos Warriors. I just bought this stuff yesterday, so I'm still gluing it together. So, yes, I play Warhammer, and yes, I am a super nerd. Alright guys, that's really all I have to say on that today. I hope it has been informative, and I will talk to you next time.